Oh, we are live with Bryn Lang in the house, y'all. Let me just hop on and check my newsfeed over here, make sure it's showing up because you never know with technology.
Hey, you
Here
better
we
be tagging
go.
me, woman. So it
I
goes
am
on.
tagging you. I am so excited to have Bryn Lang in the house, y'all. As you are popping on, you better be hitting that share button and tagging your besties in the comments because Bryn, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about her in a minute, but Bryn just changed my life and came into my life at the most perfect time. And she has a massive chunk played a big role in my success in like building my business online. And I want her to have a role in the success with you guys. So as you're here and hopping on, say hello in the comments. If you know Bryn Lang, drop us a little hashtag Langbang in the comments because she's going to bring some value today. Throw us some fire emojis in there. Yes, I got Langbanged. I need one of those badly. I'm just so excited to have her on here. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit nervous. I still get nervous hanging out with Bryn. Like I get the sweaty palms and the poop pains a little bit.
Such a nerd, dude. Like, I just don't get it. You're
Because I freaking love you.
Batman. I mean, like, what's so weird about hanging out with Batman?
She really is, y'all. She is. So share this out. There's a share button below this video. You could drop this. It's public. Throw it in your team chats. Feel free to tag your biz besties in the comments if you're building any sort of business on social media, right? Like Bryn Lang is going to talk to us a bit today about building with posture, building without burnout. That's like what she's known for, which I'm going to let her dive into. But I would just want to tell you about her for a second. So I met Bryn, I think like 3 years ago. She came into my life now at a time where I was trying to have success online. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was watching her. I would watch her lives and I would tune in and she would always bring so much value. I loved her energy and we connected on the back end and she helped me to build belief in myself. If you guys can relate to not having belief in where your business is going to go or if you can do things, like she helped me to truly believe in myself. And here I am 3 years later, I actually hit the live button and I'm not scared anymore. And, she is just an incredible human being. And everything I learned from her and continue to learn is just above and beyond. So I love you so much. I'm so grateful to have you as a mentor and a role model in my life. And so, yeah, without further ado, I want you to do the talking.
Hello. Let me get my poop microphone ready. Kiri requested I bring the poop microphone with me, y'all. I'm just gonna let y'all know if you like boring, you are on the wrong interview. We like to have a little bit of fun around here. Anyways, hello everybody. Give me some whoop whoops. I'm a total whoop whooper. I know they say that like with the colors, like that's a blue, but I'm also kind of like a red. So like I just call myself a purple. I'm just a unique person like that. But I love whoop whoops. Give me some whoop whoops. Y'all give all the love to Miss Carrie over here. Like she is one of my favorite people on the planet. And she still cracks me up because she's one of my good friends and she still gets nervous to go live with me, which makes me it just makes me laugh so hard. But anyways, my name is Bryn Lang. If you don't know me, I have been an online entrepreneur since 2014. Really, I was super, super skeptical. In fact, my husband and I own a couple restaurants. And so he's always been an entrepreneur. And at the time, I was a personal trainer. And like he was always in my head. He's like, you should open up your own gym, or you love to read. So you should open up your own bookstore. Like you should become an entrepreneur. And my only experience in that was with brick and mortar. Like my parents owned restaurants. We went through like a terrible bankruptcy when I was in high school. And so it put like the fear of what it would look like to be a business owner in my mind. And I always said I would never get into the freaking restaurant industry. And then I married a freaking restaurateur, right? Like we do those things. But he always was trying to convince me to be an entrepreneur. And I was like, no, I don't think so. But I had only really been introduced to like what it looked like to own a brick and mortar business. And if you don't know what it's like to own a brick and mortar business, a lot of people think that when you're a business owner, like you have all this free time and like you're the boss, so you get to control your hours and you're like making all this money off all your employees. And honestly, it's a bunch of bullshit. Okay. It is the hardest work you could ever imagine. And it's like when you look at like getting even a loan, you're looking upwards of $100,000 to start a business. And so, and then you got to pay that back. You know what I'm saying? So all I knew was like, you got to keep the lights on. You got to make sure people are paid, and you ain't getting paid. We were broke. Okay. Like we were broke at this point. And so the right person on the right day at the right time said the exact right thing to me. And I actually got introduced to a different type of entrepreneurism, which was network marketing. Once again, was super skeptical. But when my friend came into the gym one day, literally so excited, and said to me, dude, I just bought socks without checking my bank account. And it still makes me laugh because it's like, I know that like you guys are listening, but how many of you relate to that? Like you relate to like having to check your bank account to buy anything, even freaking socks. Like that's how broke we were. Like we never had enough money at the end of the month. And as a personal trainer, I could not work any more hours. I had a 5-year-old, right? And so I just decided nothing changes if nothing changes. And that's how I entered into the world of entrepreneurism. And I sucked. Yep, sucked balls. Anybody else? We all start at suck. Just FYI, if you've never done anything before, like any skill, any business, anything new that you start, you're going to suck. Just so you know, we all start at suck. My leaders had no idea what they were doing. I had no idea what I was doing, but I threw myself into the fire and I decided to learn. And for 4 years, I literally I worked my ever living ass off because I started to see a vision of what I could create for my family. And I had this vision of the freedom that I wanted. I had this vision of the lifestyle I wanted. And so I just put my head down and I learned and I applied. And for 4 years, I spent every waking hour on my phone, every waking hour on Zooms in people's houses, traveling, doing parties, all of these things. And it was exhausting. I was this tool. And this vision that I had of lifestyle and freedom, I found myself in a space where I was working even more than I had ever worked, even when I was personal training. And then one day everything came to a head for me when my kid, at this time, he was almost 9 years old, like literally bawling, crying, told me he didn't think I loved him anymore. Because I never paid attention to him. I was always working. And it was the biggest gut punch I had ever experienced. And so I had to make a decision. Either I was going to leave the network marketing world and go back to having a full-time job, or I was going to have to do something different. And so that was really the most pivotal moment for me in my personal journey, because I did almost go back to the regular world. And those of you who are watching, some of you might have full-time jobs. You might love it, or you might hate it. I'm not an employee. I realized that very quickly. I did not want to have to be somewhere where people told me what time I had to be there, what time I could leave, when I could take vacation, how much money I could make. So I had to figure out how to do it a different way. And that really is my jam now. I teach people how to work less and make more. I teach people how to build an online business without sacrificing the things that matter to them most. Because at the end of the day, you can do it. You absolutely can do it. It's going to take starting at suck. It's going to take learning new skills. It's going to take, oh, I hate this word, getting organized. But that's my jam. I teach efficiency. So there you have it, sister. There you have it.
I love it. I love it. And going off of like efficiency, I remember the one time when you challenged a few of us to even write down like what we did for 3 days. I remember she like challenged us. She was like, I want you to write down when you poop, when you watch TV, when you're on your phone, when you're scrolling, what you're doing. And you would be surprised at how much time people sometimes waste, right, throughout the day. It's eye-opening, to be honest. So
yeah, well, I mean, you have to have awareness. If like when we talk about any sort of change, right? And look, perfect time to have this conversation, right? We're right at the beginning of 2023. This is the time of year where most people are super reflective about how they want to change their life, their health, their finances, whatever it is that you've decided you wanted to change in 2023. I don't really believe in New Year's resolutions, but I do believe in getting super reflective and deciding to change habits. And so we're sitting at this point of the year right now where most people are super reflective. And I want you guys to understand that, like, if you want to make change, you have to first have awareness, right? Because a lot of us, we don't like to be aware. We don't like to look in the mirror. We want to, honestly, let's be 100 here. Like, we want to blame everybody else or have excuses outside of ourselves for the reason we're not where we want to be. Well, guess what, everybody? I'm up like 7 pounds right now from where I like to be. Am I going to blame it on my husband? Am I going to blame it on my kid? Am I going to blame it on freaking driving by McDonald's? No, I need to be self-reflective and realize that some of my habits need to go or they need to be changed. I drink a little bit too much wine. Let's be 100, right? I probably eat a little bit too much sugar. You know, I snack a little bit too much at night. I have to have that awareness in order to first make a habit change. And so if you want to start learning how to build a business without burnout, without having to sacrifice all the other things in your life that matter to you, you first have to have awareness with where your time is going and how much of it you are actually wasting on stupid shit every day. I mean, like, it just is what it is.
No, I love it. And I'm writing down notes. I wrote down like reflect, awareness, and habits. So if you had to break this down for like someone on here that is a network marketer or they are a business owner or an entrepreneur, like what does that look like in a network marketer's world? Because let's face it, a lot of people that you and I connect with and talk to, some people think they're working, but like scrolling isn't working, which you taught me very well. So like, how do you break that down? How do they get aware? Like, how can they like structure it so they're not burnout, but they are having success?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all about being super intentional with each and everything you're doing every single day. And the problem is most of us were raised to multitask, right? How many of your moms taught you, right? Like, kill two birds with one stone. Like, we wear this badge of multitasking because we're like so awesome if we can do two or three things at the same time, right? And so that's what we're trying to do all day long. So like, literally, I can picture myself before I like really got intentional. And like, I remember an exact day, like literally standing in my kitchen with my phone in my hands. My kid was sitting at the table. He's doing his math homework. And oh my gosh, try to help a freaking 6-year-old do math homework. And it's just like, you want to pull out your hair already. But like, I'm literally like talking to a prospect on my phone. At the same time, my kid's yelling at me like, hey, mom, mommy, mom, right? Like so many questions about this math. And I suck at math anyways. And so I'm trying to answer his questions while I'm trying to talk to this prospect. Well, I'm also trying to cook dinner at the same time because my husband's about to get home from work and I want to make sure that we all have time to sit down for dinner. And then I realized that I left the clothes in the freaking washer. And if I don't put them in the dryer, then nobody's going to have clothes for the next day. So I run in there and I go to get the stuff out of the washer to put it in the dryer. And then the freaking smoke alarm goes off because I'm trying to cook dinner at the same time. And then my husband gets home and he's like, hey, honey, what's for dinner? And I'm like, I will punch you in the freaking face. Right? Like, how many of you relate to that? That's real life. That's what multitasking does. When you try to multitask, you literally, okay, it takes you 50% longer to do each and every thing that you are trying to do if you are multitasking. So the first step is becoming aware, taking the time to take 2 or 3 days and writing down everything that you're doing. The next step is to ask yourself, what are the things in my life that matter to me most? Right? Because oftentimes these things get neglected and we're trying to do all the things at one time, right? So for me, when I sat down, I started to think, okay, my faith, my family, my health, and my business. Those are the things that matter to me most. So when I look at the 3 days and everything I've written down, I could start going through that list and saying, okay, that doesn't feed me in the things that matter to me most. That doesn't feed me in the things that matter to me most, right? Like, and realizing where all that time that is being sucked away into things that don't matter, then I can start saying no. I can have the awareness to start saying no to some of those things that don't matter, right? And then the next step is to get super intentional with your time. I hate to say it, but being organized with your schedule is very important. I like to sit down once a week on Sundays and I write out my whole week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I write it out by hours. And that might make your head go, I don't like organization. Every cell in my body wants to fight against organization. But I know that if I can write it all out and make sure I have intentional time with the Lord, I have intentional time with my family, with my kid, eyeballs, with my spouse. I have intentional time to move my body for my health, right? And then I can have intentional time to plug my business in. When I'm doing one thing at a time, I guarantee you guys, you will get so much more done. Your energy levels will feel better. You'll get to the end of every day and you'll feel fulfilled instead of feeling like, oh my gosh, I have to do this all over again tomorrow. And I already feel way behind from today.
I love that you said that. That's so true. Like, you do feel fulfilled knowing that you actually looked at all those things that you did. Hell yeah. Like, that's liberating. I'm not gonna lie. So I was taking all the notes, right? We have first, you're gonna get aware, then you're gonna write down the things that matter most. And I know I've heard you say this before, like that list is different for everyone, right? Like
Yes.
everyone, it all depends.
Yes.
Like, yeah. So
Yeah,
for
some
you,
people like really need friendships in their life. I'm a severe introvert. I don't like people in person. Like, nobody ever believes me when they see me online until they meet me in person. They're like, she's really awkward. It's because I'm a serious introvert. I'm like, oh my God, they're talking to me. I just want to like curl up in a ball in the corner and just be like, don't look at me. Don't talk to me. That's just who I am. So for me, having time for friendships in person is not a big part of what matters to me most. But for you, if you're like this social butterfly, if you're like this extrovert that your energy is fed by other people, you might really want to make sure that you have time to do that, right? So it does. It's going to look different for everybody.
love it. Love it. And then the last one is like getting intentional. So like that's where going back to like what I kind of brought up, how Bryn challenged us to, when she challenged us, we didn't even know why. She just challenged us one week and said, when I meet with you guys next week, we're going to go over this. And then she broke it down like she just did for all of you watching, where she's like, all right, let's look at this. What's important to you? And let's plug all those things that you charted that you do into those categories, and everything that doesn't fit in there, get rid of it. Like, get rid of it. And then that's where the success comes out, because you can actually build a successful business because you're doing the things. You're not getting stuck in the scroll hole or sitting on Netflix or, whatever it is.
Well, it's one of those things. It's like, raise your hand in the comment box or just say me if you feel this constant guilt. And let's have a real talk. Us women, we have a tendency to make ourselves feel guilty all of the time, especially us women entrepreneurs, right? Because we put it on our shoulders that it's our job to take care of everybody. It's our job to make sure the kids are taken care of. It's our job to make sure the laundry's done. It's our job to make sure everybody gets fed, right? Like, at the end of the day, it's not just your job. We live in this guilt and we never ask for help because we are taught from little girl age that is our job as women to take care of everybody. And oftentimes we go by the wayside, or what we want goes by the wayside. So we live in this perpetual guilt cycle. When we're spending a lot of time with our family and doing things that we need to get done for our home and for all these things, we feel guilty that we're not spending enough time on our business. But then if we're spending all of our time, and by the way, a lot of leaders perpetuate that too. If you're not spending enough time on your business, if you're not always thinking about your business, if you're not always on your phone, if you're not always reaching out to prospects, if you're not always showing up on social media, you don't want it bad enough, which is bullshit. Okay. And then the other side, it's like so many of us, like, we get into this world and we're always on our phones and we're always working and we've got these little kids over here. We've got this family over here that we feel so guilty, or they make us feel guilty because we're always working over here. So it's like, when you can get really intentional on both sides, that's when the sweet spot happens. That's when you can have success and you can have a life that brings you joy at the same time.
is she not bringing the fire here? Like, I see some fire emojis popping up. Throw some fire emojis in there if you are getting value from this. Like, this is a ton of value, you guys. It's so true. Everything that Bryn just said about, leaders that tell you this, or, your family that wants your time, that you want to be successful. And then I don't know how many of you can relate to this, but how many of you that are building businesses get online and you start to have compare-itis too. You see other people having success. You get in the scroll hole and you're like, oh, she's doing this and I'm not doing enough. And then you end up telling your husband, I'm done in a few minutes, and your kids to be quiet. And yeah, it is perpetuating the whole thing. So it's like, we have to make this decision, right? If you're listening to this and you're having that light bulb moment, maybe today is the time to make the decision that you're going to change it up, right? That you are going to build with intention. You are going to build without burnout. 2023 is going to be your year to have success. So yeah, I'm hyped. That got me hyped listening to that. It's just so true. Like, I have my to-do list that I work off of, but I also plug it into like my Google Calendar, and it is nice to like see where my day is going, what time I have. Okay, I worked my business for 2 or 3 hours. When my kids are done school, I feel confident putting my phone down for a while and like, spending time and listening to them and stuff, because
think about it this way. So many people, like, it's so dumb. It's so dumb that we do this to ourselves. But so many of us think like, oh my gosh, if I don't get right back to that team member, they're going to think I'm a bad leader. They're going to think I don't care. Oh my gosh, if I don't get right back to that prospect, they're going to go buy from somebody else, or I'm going to lose them. That also is a bunch of bullshit, right? Like, I teach my team and I teach my leaders that I have business hours. I let them know exactly when my hours are that I'm working, that they can 100% contact me if they want. But if they contact me outside of those business hours, I will get back to them as soon as my business hours are back in play. And they understand, because I've taught them that from the beginning. And even when I didn't do it, I had to go back and I had to backtrack with some of the people on my team. And that's okay, because I started to teach them to respect my time and for them to respect their own time. And then on the opposite side of that, think about a prospect, right? Like, if everything you do when you are talking to a prospect, whether it's about the products, the service, the opportunity, everything you do, they are watching, and subconsciously they are asking themselves if they can do the same thing. So if I get right back to a prospect every single time, if I get right back and I'm right there on every three-way chat, as soon as somebody pops me in, psychologically, they are going, oh my gosh, I have to do that. But if I have a leader of mine pop me in a three-way chat with a prospect and it's 5:30 at night, and she says, hey, look, Bryn's having her family time right now. Her business hours are going to start back up in the morning again, so she'll be in then. What is that telling that prospect? They're going, wow, that's awesome. I can have my family and I can build a business at the same time. I don't have to be on my phone 24/7 in order to be successful. I like this. I can do that. And guess what? 90% more people are going to sign up with you.
I love that. It's so true. And that was another thing that I learned about Bryn too. Because when I started building my business online years ago, I thought the same thing. Like, I have to get back to them immediately. I have to answer their message. She told me that one time and it clicked in my head. I equated it to anyone that runs a business. Let's go with like lawyers. A lawyer, if you send them an email, they're not getting back to you right away. Not because they don't want to, because they have business hours. Maybe they're in court. Maybe they're with their family. Maybe they're whatever, right? It's the same thing. So I love that so much. All right. So I took up a ton of your time here. And those of you that are on, I appreciate you guys. If you catch this later, you can drop us a hashtag replay. Definitely share this out or tag your teamies in the comments. But I want to end with, I see a lot of fire emojis. If anyone listening that catches this at any point wants to grab some value from you, tell us about what you have coming up. I'm excited for it.
Yeah. So I'm really excited. If you haven't seen, you might be under a rock. I don't know. But myself, the incredible Marina Simone, who's the queen of branding and social media, John and Nadia Melton, two of the top earners in the entire network marketing industry, and Rob Sperry, one of the best network marketing trainers I've ever had the opportunity to work with myself. we have all come together with some amazing, amazing speakers, including this crazy, awesome girl, Carrie, who is going to like literally, I want to say lang bang you, but I'm going to say boil bang you. On how to use text message marketing in 2023. We've come together for a 5-day free momentum summit. And here's why I want you guys to understand like why we all came together to do this. So I know there's a lot of free things out there. You've probably plugged into a lot of them, but this is going to be a lot different than anything that you've ever plugged into before, because we all came together in 2022 and we really saw how heavy and how hard 2022 was on so many people in our industry, and honestly, so many people in this world. And we wanted to share with you guys the shifts that you need to be making in 2023, because our industry is shifting. Our economy is shifting. What's going on in the world right now is shifting big time. And we want to make sure that we are helping you make the shifts that you need to make in 2023 to really crush your business and to have crazy momentum. So I'm going to be lang banging it, especially on the first day. We're going to be talking a lot about what we talked about today, about mindset, getting your shit together. Because let's
I thought that's what you were going to say. When you said shift, I was like, she's going to say shit.
Yeah, we need to get your shit together, okay? But it's going to be really, really good, and it's free. And don't devalue it just because it's free, you guys. Like, seriously. And I will give you a little bit of a hint. You're also going to have the first opportunity to work like really closely with myself, with John and Nadia, with Marina, and with Rob in 2023. And only the people in that summit are going to get this offer, just so you know. So I would definitely go register right away. Carrie is going to give you guys that link in order to register. I would be sharing it with anybody you know building an online business. Hey, and here's the thing. What are we teaching in network marketing? We need to build off of OPE, other people's efforts. So you should be getting your team in there so that they can get momentum too. We also teach OPN, other people's networks. You want to network with some of the best in the biz? Then you want to be in that free 5-day summit.
100%. So you guys, when we get off, I'll edit the title of the video above. I'll put the link. Like Bryn said, it's going to be totally free. It starts next week. All you have to do is click, register, get in the group. If you can't catch the videos live, they're going to be there in the replay and all the things. It's just going to be a ton of value. I'm excited. Yes, I'm one of the speakers. I'm super hyped about that. And there's some other amazing speakers. Like the lineup is legit. So that's all I got. I appreciate you a ton. And you guys, like I said, oh God, yeah, let's end with the mic. Go ahead.
Did you get lang banged? I can't help myself.
I need one of those badly. All right. We appreciate you guys a ton. Thank you so much for being on. Love you.
Bye.